Okay, ready? Cool. Okay. I didn't actually notice like that many mistakes this week. Like, I do think that, you know, the level is quite high this week. It's like, hats off to you, very well done. A few things I have noticed that come up regularly are things like certain words where you tend to use the Russian version in that you have one word and then the following word is in the genitive case in Russian. So you translate it as word of and whatever. And often in English it doesn't quite work like that. And what happens is instead of one word in the genitive case or of whatever, that second word goes like this and it becomes one word. So one example I had, style of life becomes lifestyle. Do you see? And like things like there's a shop here called Dom Knigi, house of book, literally, but it would be book house in English. Do you see? Another issue I have noticed, which is probably quite a big topic, is verbs of motion. In English, verbs of motion are a lot simpler than in Russian. In Russian, you have a lot of unidirectional and multidirectional and various prefixes that determine whether you are going to somewhere, you're arriving, you're approaching, you're exiting, you're entering. Like, there's so many. And it's quite hard for me to learn them. But when you translate them into English, they often come out wrong. So, for example, you often say, when I come to a country. Doesn't quite work. It's when I go to a country, when I travel to a country, when I arrive in a country, things like that. Like you use the word come in too many instances where it's not appropriate. So when the train comes from wherever, that doesn't work. It's when the train goes from or leaves from. There are significant differences with that. You know, whenever you have the prefix pre in Russian, it doesn't always translate as come or arrive. It can translate as leave or get to in a lot of instances. So just be aware of that. You know, when you're thinking in Russian and trying to say words in English, don't always assume that it means come, because like things like prihodit can mean come, but not always. Okay. The other one I've noticed is the use of the word reach. And I think this comes from when you have the prefix do in Russian. So, you know, doyekhat, do, whatever. In a lot of cases, that is translated as to get to somewhere. You know, a train can reach a destination, but you get to a destination, you arrive at that destination, you've finished your journey kind of thing. You can reach a place, but it's not as common. It's more to get to somewhere, or like to get as far as somewhere sometimes. But I've noticed a lot of errors with that in using reach, because you have to remember that the word to reach has another meaning as well. It's like to achieve something, yeah, to reach a certain level of knowledge or awareness or something like that. It's not always to do with getting somewhere, but yeah, I'm sure that there's other mistakes that, you know, with verbs of motion that probably come up, but to come and to reach are the most common ones, and just be careful as to how you're translating them, because when you use pri and when you use do, does not automatically translate as to come and to reach. Okay, so yay, that's all. Okay. Finished, done, complete, over.